Good evening. Welcome to our voters' night for tonight. Bow with me as I pray. Father, we thank you that we have a country that gives us the ability to choose our leaders, gives us the ability to hear their concerns, to hear their plans, and I thank you that this Chamber of Commerce and the Sunrise Rotary Club have sponsored us. I pray that what unfolds tonight will be a fair representation of each candidate and their views. I pray that those who are listening online will be able to understand what is occurring, and that this whole evening might be a fruitful exercise in democracy. I pray that you will bless our community, the different cities, the county, the individuals. Father, bless this community. I ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Scott, I just got a text message from 1200. It says he doesn't have audio. Is that been fixed?
I can hear it.
Okay, just checking.
Do we have audio now?
Yes, we do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Tehama County and potential politicians, elected officials. This is the first ever virtual candidates night that we've ever held here in Tehama County, so we hope that it goes off without a hitch. So here's going to be our general format. We're going to be looking at 2 minutes for opening statements. We're going to go through a series of questions where each of you will be provided with 1 minute to answer those questions. And then time permitting, we will move on to a 2-minute closing statement session for each of you. Are there any questions that anyone has for us here? Okay, I'd like to go ahead and move into a Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd all please stand. Salute the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll begin with opening statements. You have 2 minutes. I'll begin with Cody, and we don't need to introduce you individually. Cody, when you're done, JR, you pick it up. Clay, you're next, and we'll go around the room that way. After the opening statements, I'll begin the specific questions based on your jurisdiction where you're running. So Cody, you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
My name is Cody Strock. I'm running for the Red Bluff City Council. My campaign is pretty widespread. It covers a lot of issues, but it is very largely focused on transparency within our government. I know many people feel very unheard and feel they don't have the opportunity to speak or share their ideas. I've written laws directed to change that, and I plan to change the dynamic our council has with its citizens so that everyone has the opportunity to speak and present themselves and actually be a part of this community. The other main focus of my campaign is bringing the community together. Right now, Red Bluff has been in decline for some time, and I think it's far past time that we change that. We have a lot of beautiful, amazing, smart, strong people in this town, and many of them feel very isolated and frustrated. And I think the real solution to most of our problems is bringing those people together, giving us shared causes, and giving us reasons to celebrate. I hope that through this, we can work on many other issues like funding the roads and the crime rates and everything else Red Bluff has going on. I think that's all I have to say for my opening. Thank you.
Hi, I'm J.R. Gonzalez, and I'm running for Red Bluff City Council because I know we have a great city. And I know with my background as a businessman and developer, we can make this city even greater. We are Red Bluff, and our city has a life. This is not Dead Bluff. We can together live the life our town was meant to live. As a town, we must have a joint purpose with a vision that involves a joint mission. Together, we can accomplish this by living secure to prosper. Now, what do I mean by secure to prosper? Let's look at the word secure. Safety. Standing for with our police and our fire department, who sacrifice their lives on a daily basis protecting the citizens of Red Bluff. E stands for everyone. Everyone in our city will be given the opportunity to succeed through our city offices. Your success as citizens will be our success as a city. C, let's cut the red tape in our planning department. There's so many regulations that it appears that the straw breaks the camel's back. These regulations do. Let's make opening our town easier building new homes easier, I believe I can help in that area. U stands for ultimately. Ultimately, you are the one responsible for accomplishing your goals. As a city, though, we seek to understand and utilize our resources, uniting together to resolve issues, bringing about your success. Remember, you are not alone. Teamwork is us, not just you. You can expect nothing less from us as a city. E, everyone's opinion matters. Everyone benefits from your success. I have an ear to listen. Let's work together. So together, trusting God, we can make Red Bluff even greater. Let's dream big. Let agreement and unity become our position of strength. We can accomplish our dreams if we purpose to move forward with a mission and a vision of the heart for our city of Red Bluff. I'm J.R. Gonzalez. I appreciate your vote, and I would be honored to serve as your city councilman.
We have a malfunction with the automatic timer, so Bill will be timing it on his stopwatch on his phone. He'll give you a hand up when you've got 30 seconds left.
First, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and Red Bluff Sunrise Rotary for hosting this event. I'm Councilmember Clay Parker. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I spent over 33 years in law enforcement, with my final 12 years as the elected sheriff of Tehama County. I retired in 2011 and was elected to the Red Bluff City Council in 2012, again in 2016, and have served as mayor 2 times. I'm running for city council again because there are several projects that I'm involved in that I'd like to see through to their completion. Specifically, I'm a proud member of the Red Bluff Kiwanis Club. I've spent the last 4 decades in public service, and I would appreciate your vote on November 3rd, but more importantly, please exercise your right to vote. Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Leach, and I am running for the Tehama County Supervisor in District 5. I can remember when Tehama County was a place where we could raise our children without fear, where jobs were not scarce, and our government worked for the people. I have served in a variety of roles throughout my life, including a farmer, the crew chief on the B-52 bomber during Vietnam, an entrepreneur, a volunteer, and a Corning City Councilman for 2 terms. I currently am the financial officer for the American Legion in this area, which is Area 1. And that represents more than 12,000 veterans in that same organization. In each of these roles, I have done everything within my power to make a change for the better. Each of these experiences, I believe, will help me navigate the many issues that our county now faces. We must give the Sheriff's Office the tools that it needs to protect us. We must bring in businesses and good paying jobs for our people. And we must ensure that our government works for us and not the other way around. I look forward to speaking more with you about this and how I would like to do this in the future days ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Crow, and I want to thank the Chamber for doing this, and I want to thank the audience for opting to spend the evening with us and not the Vice President candidates. Tehama County is a great place to live, and I want to keep it that way. But we need to be honest that there are things that need to be fixed. I want to keep Tehama County great and fix those things. I know right now that a lot of people are frustrated because you feel you have no voice. And make no doubt about it, the public's business must be conducted in public, openly, and with transparency. As supervisor, I promise that I will lead forward. I know this office is not for the faint of heart, but neither are the issues that come before the board. I hope to help encourage open debate, but to discourage hostility. When we agree, that's great. If we don't, we can at least disagree without being disagreeable. And we can agree that our collected goal is to keep Tehama County great. I back the blue. I realize how vital law enforcement is to the safety of our community, but I also back balanced budgets. And even in this very delicate issue, I am sure that if we work together and build consensus, we can come to an amicable conclusion. I promise to hold all county employees accountable from the chief administrator on. And I promise that I will listen to all and vote according to what I think is right. Make no mistakes, I am my own person. I will not be the spokesperson for any special interest groups or unions. If you vote for me and you live in District 5, you're who I'm going to represent, and with my 4 fellow supervisors, together we will represent Tehama County. We need more businesses and jobs. We need to keep our roads in tip-top shape and in good condition. So, if you think these things are best, and I do, vote Jerry Crow. That's Crow with no E here. Thank you.
My name is Michael Lee Fielded, and I'm a candidate for mayor for the city of Corning. I learned in college that if you want to be seen, you got to sit up where they can see you. If you want to be heard, you speak up. If you want to be appreciated, you need to shut up. So I'm going to make this brief. I've been to several police academies. I have a master's degree in criminal justice, summa cum laude. And I'm also a graduate of the United States Army Command and General Staff College. And I hold advanced certificates from the Commission of Peace Officers, Standards and Training, and I'm also a graduate of the United States Academy of Private Investigation. I'm a retired marshal, retired from Los Angeles County, and currently I'm a licensed private investigator and process server. And I'm also past assembly person for the California Senior Legislature, and currently I'm a senior senator with the California Senior Legislature. So I've had plenty of experience in writing bill proposals, those kind of things. I had 33 years of military service with the Army Reserve and National Guard, and I retired at the rank of Brigadier General. I've been a property book officer in the military and assigned to over $13.5 million budget, and we never lost a nickel. I have commendations from the United States Senate, Senator Lawrence Wilder, and Valley Federal Savings for Life Saving. I belong to several organizations. Currently, I'm the commander of the American Legion Post in Corning, and I'm a life member of American Legion, Disabled American Veterans Association, United States Army, Military Officers Association of America, and I'm also a unit commissioner. Have a time?
Yes.
And I'm also a unit commissioner. Things I'm concerned about is public safety, roads, cleaning up our city of Corning, and I'll be looking for new businesses so we can create new jobs. Thank you, and I hope to receive your vote for mayor of Corning.
Okay, my name is John Harrison, and I'm running for mayor for the city of Corning. I will go into a little bit of my background as an engineer. I'm a computer equipment engineer, and I've worked for some of the largest red tape bureaucracy generating organizations in the free world. The United States Army, Northrop Grumman Corporation, NEC, HP, State of California, Workers' Comp Insurance, State Fund, CalPERS, things like that. So when I say that I know how to get through red tape and how to do justifications, I mean it. Looking around at what's been going on for this past year, I noticed a couple things, and I don't care what you want to call what happened in Seattle or Portland, but looking at those situations, I said to myself, I want to do something to make sure that we remain safe and secure throughout this pandemic and throughout this election year that's going on right now. I will do that by supporting the police and fire department wholeheartedly, because if you're not safe and secure, nothing else really matters. You know, you can have a great job, you can have good health and everything, but if you're not safe, if you're not secure, that doesn't matter. So I'm looking forward to bringing my engineering expertise to the city of Corning and creating a city of technology. We need to train our children. We need to have a future workforce that is ready for the 21st century, that is ready for technology. And I believe I can do that. I can bring that to us. I don't want to go into the road situation. However, you know, I live near Lolita and Toombs. So if you think for 1 second I'm not going to be motivated to find budget and find money, funding to fix our roads, just drive down Toombs one of these days and you'll see what I'm talking about. My name is John Harrison. I look forward to receiving your vote. I look forward to being mayor of Corning 2021. Thank you.
My name is Robert Snow. I'm running for the mayor of the city of Corning. The last 3.5 years I have been a council member. Have worked diligently to make sure our police department is staffed, funded, have the equipment they needed, same as the fire department, work hand in hand with public works, trying to repair roads, keep our parks up to date, and I will keep it short and sweet. I'm a man of action, not words. I appreciate your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Shelley Harkins. I'm running for Corning City Council. I have lived in Corning for 35 years and have raised my family here. I've seen what Corning has been and what it is now. I'm a very proud business owner and have had many years working with the public. I'd love to see more businesses grow here in Corning. The town of Corning and surrounding areas have supported my business of 7 years, and I'd like a chance to give back. I'd like to be one of the 5 voices on the council representing our town. I'll listen, I'll be honest and balanced, and I'll speak up when I agree or disagree. I want to be a voice representing a positive change for the citizens of Corning. I appreciate your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
That concludes the opening statements. Shelley, I'll start with you, and we'll come back this way with questions specific to your particular jurisdiction. So Shelley, the question that I begin with is, what do you believe are the city of Corning's top priorities?
I would think the roads are probably one of the top priorities. Also the parks in town. I think what else here? The homelessness situation and crime, which goes hand in hand, is also a big priority.
All right, I should remind you, you have 1 minute for these answers, and you're welcome to take the full time or stop short as Shelley did. Robert, what would you say are the city's highest priorities?
Economic growth. I know we've been working with developers a lot to try to get people to build. We're competing with other cities that the market, they make a lot more money selling a house in another community than they do in Corning, so we're working to try to find avenues to want developers to come to Corning. More people, bigger tax base, you can bring in industry, businesses for people to shop at.
John, as a mayoral candidate, what would be your first priority if you were elected?
My first priority would be, of course, safety and security, like I was saying. Ensuring that our police department is fully funded, fully supported, along with our fire department. But moving on to what Mr. Snow was talking about with bringing new business into Corning, I think that is something that we really need to look into, because with what's happening in the big cities, you've got individuals that are leaving. And where are they going to go? The good guys are leaving to other states. We need to make sure that we set Corning up as a technologically sound city that can receive these people that want to work from home. That they have the technology available to be able to do their jobs. Thank you.
All right. Michael, the same question for you. What would you say are the highest priorities?
The highest priority for Corning is definitely the lack of jobs that we have there right now.
Turn your microphone on, please, Michael.
Thank you. The lack of jobs that exist in Corning right now is one of the problems that I want to work on. see if we can't get some more industry in there and get more jobs. There's more homes being built now. We started to recover from that real estate crash back in 2008. It's taken several years for us to get back, but the cost of homes is now starting to come back up again. And I think if we can get more people in the city and develop more jobs, it'll help, as Mr. Snow said, it'll increase our tax base, and it'll help us to make a better city for people.
Jerry, the same question to you. Be sure and turn your mic on. What would be your first priority if you were to become 5th District Supervisor?
My first priority or priorities, like they're...
You could give a list.
Okay, well, of course...
Try to do it in order.
I'll try to. Not alphabetical. It's, law enforcement, of course, fire, roads, bridges, infrastructure, homelessness, those are all very important things. Balanced budget. I think right now we need to rebuild our counties the way they feel that they are treated by government. I think we need to build bridges. We need to make people feel like they are listened to, that they are not just a distraction from the supervisors doing their jobs, that what they say matters. And I think right now the COVID-19 thing needs to, that needs to be a priority. Do we want to become a county that requires healthcare officials to take the flu shot? Do we want to go there? Do we want to penalize people if they don't wear masks? Let's really think about that. We don't want to live in a utopian society.
John, the same question for you. Priorities?
I think my first priority, being able to serve as a supervisor and being sitting into all of the council, the supervisors meetings for the last year. Public safety is a big issue right now in our county. I think one of the basic functions of government is to provide for the safety of the citizens. We pay taxes to this end, and our sheriff's office is vital to the county and our ability to remain safe in our persons and our property. In addition, we need to ensure that crime remains low to help attract new businesses into the county. And I know our sheriff's office right now is currently has 17 of the 30 deputy sheriff's position filled, and basically our deputies are being paid about 20% below the average for comparable counties. And this really has to change. Another issue is the budget. You got your hand up, Bill?
You have 7 more seconds. Keep going.
We'll go ahead and stop there, and I can come back later on something else. Anyway, that's what I'll stop there.
Let me make sure people understand what I'm doing. When I first come up, that's 30 seconds. When I do it the second time, it's 15 seconds. Sorry, we thought the other guys were. So it's 30, then 15, and then you'll hear the sound.
All right, Clay, question for you and for the other candidates. What would be your first priority and your other priorities as a council member?
Well, I think, as everyone knows, that public safety is number one. Homelessness is an issue which we're working on right now. Infrastructure. But right now, the biggest thing is the pandemic. We are letting our local businesses die, and I don't believe it's necessary. The Payne County Health Officer has to issue his orders. However, I feel that we can mitigate the issue by wearing face masks if you can't keep your social distancing. I think people should stay within their family circle or work circle. And if you can't, then try just to do your best to stay away from others, especially people that are sick. Pandemic right now, we've got to get out of this. We've got all of our businesses open back up. Thanks.
JR, same question for you. Priorities?
I totally agree. I think we do not need another shutdown. I think our businesses need to thrive and not die, because we can shop at Walmart. I think we can eat with being wise as we go out to eat and keep our restaurants open and our businesses open. However, the other priority that I see is generating business, new business for our city. And I believe that happens in our city office I believe that there are so many restrictions our people have that when somebody walks into the office, they're presented with so many regulations that it's tough for them to do business. I think we need to cut regulation and make it easier for our employees to help those coming in to generate business. Because if we generate business, we'll have a tax base that will support our police and our fire department.
Cody, the same question for you.
So there are a lot of priorities tied together. I would say public safety, community, the roads, our complete lack of control and lack of transparency in our own government. Right now we have a council that regularly violates the Brown Act, not okay. We have police officers that were defunded before it was cool, being paid 35% less than neighboring communities like Reading, and 10 officers short of what they need. All this done by and approved by our current council, not okay. I personally would like to be able to walk to the store without having to worry about it. I'd like to be able to take evening walks. I'd like to be able to open businesses. I'd like to be able to shop around for a home and have options. All really strong things that need to be addressed, and it's very hard to prioritize one. And luckily we don't have to. We can work on these issues simultaneously. There's absolutely no reason we can't repair the roads while we entice new contractors, while we take control of our local laws and have our own officials guide our businesses on how to open and allow them to open and give them the tools they need to. There's no reason we can't be doing our own education during the pandemic. It is widely available scientific knowledge that's free for everyone. Let's give our people control.
Okay, so now, Cody, we'll start with you and work back around. Shelley, to you, a question for the Red Bluff City Council candidates. How would you define and how would you address the homeless problem in the city of Red Bluff?
Our homeless problem is less a homeless problem and more a meth and heroin epidemic. Now, there are a lot of homeless people that are homeless due to misfortune. They also have no resources, the same as the people that are struggling with meth and heroin epidemics. I'm not sure there's one way to define this. It's a very personalized subject, but there is one way to define a solution. That is transition programs. We can build halfway houses. We can use abandoned properties for that. We can build programs that train these people for skilled labor and get them into jobs that will support them while simultaneously addressing our skilled labor shortage. We have a lot of solutions for this. There's absolutely no reason we're not doing it. All the money we need for any of these programs is absolutely in the budget. All we need to do is stop spending it on contractors that are paid 6 times their average salary.
Okay, Art.
It is a very difficult problem that I don't think will ever be resolved. We can just try to resolve it and help those people. The homeless people are people with broken dreams. And these broken dreams have resulted in use of alcohol, drugs, and so many different things. And I know that there's transition programs that the city is already developing or through PATH and so on to help these people. However, we need to go in there with social workers and interview these people and says, what caused you to be where you are today? We need to help them solve their problems.
Clay?
Yeah, homelessness, as you heard, can be defined many ways. It can be people that just don't have shelter at night. And I agree, there's got to be a lot of programs happening, and that's why we're doing everything that my fellow candidates have talked about. We're doing those now in the community. But I want to say this, that years and years of work have finally come to fruition. The city, county, community, and most importantly, PATH, have obtained land within the city to build a navigation reentry facility so that persons wanting to better their lives will have a path to the future. Once that's there, the police department will then be able to enforce the no camping, no trespassing laws.
All right. John and Jerry, your question is this. What is your plan to stimulate the economy of Tehama County?
That's a hard question. I think that to stimulate, I know that I used to be on the Economical Development Committee out of Chico, California when I was on the city council. And I have been able to have conversations with a couple of gentlemen who work heavily in that area. And I think we need to really seriously look at bringing in some great new businesses within our county, not only to increase our tax base, but also to increase jobs for for our young people. We're losing young people as they get out of school, they're gone because there's nothing to keep them here. So I think just really developing a plan, an economical development plan to bring new businesses into our county to help us.
Terry?
I was hoping we'd get a chance to answer the homeless question, but I'll respond to this one, hopefully, and say what Cody said. He said it brilliantly. Currently, Tehama County's main industry is agriculture, and I think it was always going to stay that way. It's the backbone of this county, and it's our heritage. I'm not afraid of growth, and I don't think it threatens our rural lifestyle. I think there's room for both. There are a lot of things that would fit both our rural values and our need to grow in order to be able to keep them. If we're going to grow and prosper, we also need to be a place that people want to move to, and a place where young people are going to want to stay once they get out of school, and a place where older people want to retire. This involves having to help encourage industry, manufacturing, and modern technology. Growth does involve change, but change with an eye to the future, wisely guided by the lessons we've learned to move forward. We need to be wise with this. I would like to be able to go to town, buy the thing I want within Tehama County and not have to leave the county. I'd like to see young people go to school and obtain educations, be able to come back to this area and work here. I want to retire here and not feel trapped. We have a lot to offer, and we just need to be able to tell people that.
The question for the mayoral candidates is similar. What do you think, or what do you believe is the single most important means of securing Corning's future prosperity in terms of economic development?
Well, that's trying to attract,
Get your microphone, there you go.
that's where we need to work and attract new businesses to help growth in our city. That's the only way we're going to get ahead, is by developing the city and making it grow and helping the people in the city to grow.
John?
Okay, I'm glad you asked this question, because where it starts is with the workforce. New business is not going to come to Corning without an educated, capable workforce, and that's where we need to get into the schools and start training our individuals, train this future workforce so that they're technologically sound. And I believe that I can bring that to us. If we have a workforce that can fill these positions, then business will have no other choice but to come here. And right now, we can increase some of that business by moving in with people from the Bay Area, Sacramento, some of the larger cities that have found out that they can work from home, as long as you have the backbone of technology to be able to support it. And I'm looking forward to bringing that to the city of Corning and making the city of Corning like an example city of technology. That's where I think it starts. You train the workforce, business will come. Kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Robert?
Corning's been referred to many times as a bedroom community. You have to have a large tax base to get people to want to bring industry into your community. Without that, they're going to go to the next community that can support them. Same with any business for commerce. So I want to continue to work with developers and expand our population of Corning, create a tax base so that we can bring in, businesses for goods for people to buy. The more of that you have, the more attractive you are to businesses that want to come open up shop in your community.
Shelley?
I agree with what Robert said, that, there has to be the base there to want to bring people into Corning. We are a bedroom community, but I think we have the potential to grow and to bring more businesses here. I think we have to work on for Corning, we have to work on our businesses, the main street, the town. We have to have places for these businesses to go. So that's my main concern too, is our Solano Street is dying. It is dead, basically. We do have businesses growing off of the other streets, so people are finding these other businesses, but it would be nice to have a main street again.
All right, so Shelley, I'll start with you and we'll work our way back around again. What motivated you to seek the position or the office of city council person?
I started a business in 2013 in Corning and was just in awe of how much support that we had from everybody in town. And through that, I've met a lot of people in the city, in the police department, in the fire department. And I just feel like it's time for me to give back. I feel like I have a good rapport. I've learned, I have a lot to learn, but I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to hopefully be a voice of change, you know? Like I said, I'm new. So.
Robert, the same question for you. What motivated you to run for office?
4 years ago, I decided to run for council. I've been a volunteer firefighter for 16 years in the city of Corning, so serving my community is nothing new to me. I was born and raised there. My parents were born and raised there. My children, my grandchildren. I felt it was time for me to step up to the next level, run for mayor, and try to continue the growth that I feel that we've achieved over the last 4 years.
Okay. John, same question for you. What motivated you to seek the office?
Well, a few years ago, I started looking around after I voluntarily set up some of those planters on Solano Street with the former chief of police, Tony. Volunteered with that. I tried to get involved, but my work took me out of the area. I've lived in Corning for the past 20 years. I'm originally from Orland, and I just wanted to get involved, and with seeing what was going on, I want to make sure that we are ready, prepared, and that we support our police department and fire department to make sure that nothing like what's going on in other cities in the United States ever happens here. And that was my motivation, was, quit talking and start doing something. Thank you.
Michael, same question. What motivated you to run?
I've lived in Corning for over 30 years. I've lived in Corning for over 30 years. I've had children go through the schools, grandchildren through the schools. My granddaughter right now is going to graduate from Corning High this year. Next year, 21. And I've watched the city, and I've seen things come and go. And for instance, my last command in the military was, I was the commander for the liaison program to the Offices of Emergency Services for the entire state of California. And thousands of people learning. So I felt that I was capable of doing this job. And I felt that I could bring some leadership back to the city that would help develop it better than it's been in the past. And those are my motivations for running.
Thank you. Jerry? Your motivation for running for office as supervisor in the 5th District?
Well, I've always, can you turn my mic on? That's better.
I've always had a strong desire to serve, and I've always thought I'd actually wait until later to do this till I was older. But then I realized if I waited later, well, it would never happen. So I figured, why not just do it, do it now because it needs to be done. Funny story, I returned from a trip last year, last year, and people kept coming up to me at the Olive Festival thanking me for running for office. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was pretty surprised that I was running for supervisor. But I decided, I'll take that as a sign and go with it. I spent the past decade working as a field rep in the state legislature doing constituent service. Before that, I was a reporter for both local papers. I've spent my time volunteering in local community organizations, and I feel I know Tehama County, its citizens, and its unique issues, and I'd like to make a difference.
John?
Considering all the years of experience that I've got in leadership, military experience, business owner, taking care of a multi-million-dollar corporation, employees, I think that I can bring to the Board of Supervisors in Tehama County leadership and financial responsibility. And I think we really need some of that right now, some true leadership and people who know finances. I don't have time to get into the budget. I want to share that with you tonight, Bill, but that's something that I think I bring. I think I have the experience to serve as a good county supervisor and can make a change in this county. Thank you.
Clay and JR and Cody, the questions that were sent in were specific for the particular jurisdiction. Nobody sent in a question asking about your motivation. So you're going to get a different question now. And it's sort of a two-part question. Clay begins with you, then JR, then Cody. The question that was sent in was a two-part question. What is your opinion about cannabis dispensaries, and do you support cannabis dispensaries in the city of Red Bluff?
Interesting. City Council voted to put together a 8-member committee to specifically look into the issue regarding cannabis. We've been meeting since June and have been getting a lot of input from the public, a lot of input from the cannabis industry, and we want to put together an ordinance so that we can take it back to the full 5-member council. Do I think cannabis needs to be in the city? Yes, for one reason, and that's for qualified medical patients. I have some friends that need it, and I would consider that a storefront dispensary would benefit that.
All right, JR, the same question to you.
For medical marijuana, I would support it. However, I don't support.
Fix your mic, I'm not sure it's on.
Let me say first, okay, I don't support the cannabis industry as a smoking pot industry. I support cannabis when it's medical to help people resolve their medical problems. And I have gone through the hippie generation. For those of you that remember that, I saw people smoking pot. I work with people smoking pot. They didn't come to work with a right mind many times. It really is something that needs to be regulated before I totally support it. And at this point, I would say no.
Cody?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I am very openly pro-cannabis. It's actually a key part of my platform. 9 out of 10 people in this town either support or just don't care about cannabis, meaning they have no strong feelings in either direction. I'm in favor of both. There are thousands of medical uses for cannabis, and for recreational users, I believe that is your right. If you can go to a bar and have a drink, you can sure get off work and have a cannabis cookie. I don't think that's any of my business what you choose to do. I may not personally use cannabis products, but I'm very interested in the industry. I actually have intentions of starting my own cannabis businesses. I brought this to the council, and I am the reason they started the cannabis committee. I chose the format and the timing and recommended members. It's taken them over a year to draft an ordinance, which they still do not have, except for the ones that me and several other professionals submitted to them. They don't approve of them, but that is one of my intentions on council. I know some people may disagree with cannabis, just as some people disagree with alcohol. If that's the case, I encourage you not to use it. It's not for everyone. I don't use it myself.
All right, so switching questions, Cody, start with you and go back around to Shelley. This is a particular question for the three of you as Red Bluff City Council candidates. What is your stance on funding for the Red Bluff Police Department?
The Red Bluff Police Department is extremely underfunded. They're paid 35% less than the officers in Reading, and I think it's a shame. I think, I personally am embarrassed that our officers are going home with not enough. And I'm actually really proud of the officers that do choose to stay here because they're clearly not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they have some personal connection, some tie, because they care. And I commend them for that. You guys are doing an amazing job. It's not fair that we have 2 officers working for 15,000, 20,000 people some nights. There are many events they cannot respond to, and they still take pride in being a full-service department. We have the funding for the police. We need to apply it, we need to use it. Public safety is absolutely a priority. Who's going to come build homes in Red Bluff if those homes can't be protected?
JR?
I totally agree.
Check your mic.
I totally agree. The police department has to be fully funded. Kyle and the police of our city are doing a tremendous job. I believe they need further training as far as skills. So what happened with George Floyd does not happen in our city, and I don't believe it will because we have a great department, but they need to receive funding for extra training, receive what they need, whatever they need, because they are protecting the citizens of Red Bluff. And the citizens of Red Bluff are our priority. Their protection is our priority, but keeping our police safe is also our priority.
Clay, same question?
Yeah, interesting question for me, considering I'm a fifth-generation law enforcement officer and I spent 33 years in it. And I've been volunteering at the police department for the last 8 years. Obviously, it's a high priority. Unfortunately, the city of Red Bluff has a finite budget. We do the best we can, and we'll do everything we can to make sure the Red Bluff Police Department is a great organization. I can tell you they are probably one of the best trained departments in all of the North State, and maybe even the state. I'm really impressed with what they do. And I should say, I guess, what we do.
Thank you. John and Jerry, the question is different, of course, for you. If you receive a complaint from a citizen about a county employee, what action would you take? John, you're first.
Well, one of my priorities, if I become a supervisor, is I definitely wanted to try to develop a great HR department, human resources, which I think we're lacking right now. And if I had a citizen come to me with a verified complaint about an employee from the county, I would definitely want to look into that. I would probably go to the supervisor first, find out exactly why that person has a complaint against that individual or that department. But I think that we are definitely lacking in the HR department in our county. We really need to put one in there, so thank you.
Jerry?
Well, when I worked as a field representative for Senator Nelson, that was actually something that I did a lot of, and that's constituent services. We would get 10 to 15 phone calls a day from somebody that was having a problem with some form of government, whether it be someone that was, had an issue with their city council or the board of supervisors or a planning department or something, and they felt like they had exhausted everything at their level, so they would call us and hoping that we could work. And my job was to turn the world upside down and do everything I possibly could to try to fix the situation. Sometimes it's not fixable, sometimes it is fixable, but what I would definitely do is, I would meet with them face to face, talk it over, figure out what the problem is, then go to the source of the problem, do the same thing, and then try to mediate something. And if we couldn't get to a mediation, try to, meet together as a board to figure out what we could possibly do to fix it.
Okay. Different question, of course, for the mayoral candidates. Please describe your leadership style.
My leadership style is,
Mike.
yeah, that's my name. Leadership style is basically, I'm a person who wants to work with other people. As a child, they said I worked well with others in school, so I've done that all my life. I get along with people, and I would just look forward to working with all the department heads in the city.
All right. John?
Well, my leadership style is a little bit different. I shoot from the hip, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I would say that I lead by example. I never ask people to do things that I wouldn't do myself, and things that I haven't done myself. But when someone questions you about something and they see you showing up before everyone else gets there, and they see you walking out the door last, that to me is a leadership quality or skill that, that a lot of people just don't have. But that's how I am. I get in early, I stay late, and get the job done. And I have found that in my dealings with people, with individuals, that when they see that leadership through example, it rubs off, it's contagious, and then they start becoming accountable. And I will hold myself personally accountable, and I will hold everyone that works with me accountable as well. Thank you.
Robert?
Accountability. I like accountability across the board for everybody. Citizens expect a certain amount of respect out of the department heads, staff, anybody that works for the community. Your tax dollars pay their wages. So I like to hold everybody accountable, and I like transparency. You know, there should never be any question about the sincerity of something somebody's being told by a city official.
All right, Shelley, a different question for you. How are you currently involved in the community?
Right now,
Yes, fix your mic.
sorry. Right now, I am a recreation department instructor for a baking class through the city of Corning. I try to do as much as I can. Unfortunately, with the type of work that I do, it's very early, and we own a bakery, and we're up very early and to bed very early, so it doesn't leave us a lot of time during the week to get a lot of volunteer time in. I do support the Neighborhood Watch. I've been out and helped clean up homeless camps through the Neighborhood Watch as well. I try to volunteer when I can, when time allows.
All right, Robert and John and Michael, your question is the same. Start with you, Robert. What is your current involvement in the community?
Like I said before, currently I'm a city council member, a volunteer firefighter. You know, over the years I've been active in my kids' sports, helping coaching here and there when I can. I work out of the community, so I'm gone during the day, I'm back in the evening. But I try to get out and do as much as I can. I have helped out with a few of the cleanups for the homeless encampments. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, John?
Well, currently, I'm running for mayor. The other thing is that I do volunteer work. Like I had said, that I've worked with the former chief of police, doing beautifying Corning, things like that. I do help my nephew, who is a school teacher for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I help him with coaching, and that's about it right now. Thank you.
Michael?
I volunteer.
Fix your mic. Mike?
Thank you. I volunteer with the Boy Scouts of America. I've been a Scoutmaster, and currently I'm registered with the Boy Scouts as a unit commissioner. I believe helping these boys grow, teaching them different things, they earn merit badges and such. And by being there for them, I hope to have an impact on the community. My wife's a bilingual teacher. Well, she was a bilingual teacher. She subs now. And I support her in all the things that she does in the community, and including helping a lot in the Spanish community. So volunteering, it's not something that I take lightly. It's something that I'm very serious about.
All right, Jerry and John, your question is this. It's a little more technical. What part do you think broadband access should play in the development, the economic development of the county?
Oh, my. My heart.
I'm just reading them, Jerry.
No, it's ironic. I keep forgetting to turn the mic on. You just asked me a technical question. It is a vital part of growing industry in Tehama County, and in fact, I would say that if we didn't encourage that, industry in general could quite possibly, disappear. I mean, we are living in a time where we need to have internet. We are living in a time when we need to have broadband things. That was something that I worked with Senator Nelson very hard while I was there for Rancho Tehama and the areas out there. There were kids out there that didn't have the internet for schools, and right now when they're having to do homeschool, how can you do that? And when you don't have a landline or a phone, if there's an emergency, how do you get people out there to fix things and help things? Like, we need that. That's necessary, and that needs to be one of our top priorities.
John?
It's funny you would ask about broadband, because in the district that I'm running for, half of my district takes up to Cohasset, which doesn't have much of a broadband way to get out with emails, internet, I know Manton is the same way in this county that desperately needs help. With this COVID-19 situation that we're in, it's a complete necessity that we have some type of broadband in our county so our kids going to school can do homeschooling on their computers and be able to continue with their education. I think it's a system that we seriously really need to look into as a county, and I know that in my own district that I'm running for, that would be an absolute priority for me to find out what we could do to get it up and running.
Okay. Red Bluff City Council, I have a different question for you to rethink how to phrase this. Budgets are stressed in every municipality, every location. What other revenue sources, other than what currently exists, what other revenue sources would you suggest or do you think might be tapped to help put more revenue into the city budget?
Well, I can say the current Red Bluff City Council probably made the best decision ever in the history of the city, and that was we passed a 1/4 sales tax. We then extended it for another 10 years, and without that, the city would be dying. Luckily, we have a lot of employees, a lot of staff that keep track of all the grants that are available, and we apply for each and every grant out there that the city can absolutely obtain.
JR?
Excuse me. I think we can be proactive. I think we can be proactive in the sense that we can go out there and generate new businesses, generate new events that will come into our city and tag on to the parade, tag on to the rodeo, tag on to what the bowling gelding sale is doing, and generate business for our hotels, our restaurants. And I believe we can make phone calls, be proactive. There's a lot of people leaving Silicon Valley. There's a lot of people looking to generate business in a community like ours. Red Bluff is an incredible community with the crossroads of I-5 and 99. People are looking to locate to Red Bluff. We need to find who they are, and if they're coming, we need to get them here and keep them here.
Cody?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Yes.
Just for clarity.
Every municipality's budgets are stressed. The question is, other than current revenue sources, what do you think can be done to put more revenue into the city's budget?
Well, the first things first, the city's budget is only stressed because we refuse to optimize our systems and we shun people away. If we stopped doing that, the budget wouldn't be stressed. However, there are still a lot of opportunities to increase our revenue. The cannabis industry, for instance, is an excellent one. Another excellent one is repairing our infrastructure so that people can actually build here if they want to. If we wanted to tomorrow, we couldn't throw 1,000 homes in here and generate revenue with new businesses and new things. It's not possible. JR is absolutely correct about events. We need more, we need to stop making it so difficult, and we need to actively promote. This event tonight is an excellent example. The city of Red Bluff, the county of Tehama, they did not throw this event, the Chamber of Commerce did. Maybe if we spent a little more time supporting them in their profession and what they do and what they're very, very, very good at, we could make that happen.
How would you work, this question for the three of you, begin with you, Cody. How would you work with other city council members and the public when you had a position that they did not support?
So I suppose it depends on the situation. If it's a matter of opinion, if it's a simple thing that there's no correct answer for, let's talk it out. Let's have open discussions and let's not rush through them and then propose a vote before everyone is done speaking like is currently done. If it's a matter of fact, if it's something simple that we have data on, then we need to present that data and prove our correctness. But right now, the council chambers is not a learning environment. It is an argumentative and stating opinion as fact environment. We need to actually collaborate, and we need to invite the public to collaborate with us. It's very difficult to attend these meetings, and we have a lot of brilliant minds out there that can help sway opinions, not only with just their opinion as a constituent, but with their expertise. We have very smart people here. It's time we allow them to speak.
JR?
I believe teamwork. We work together. John Wooden said it this way. John Wooden said, it takes 10 hands to put the ball through the hoop. And every player has an assignment. I think we need to recognize each other's assignments and play that way, because it's a teamwork working together that's going to get the job done. And I believe we have a good team in the city council. You know, I'd be honored to fill one of those positions, but let me tell you, when I'm there, it's going to be teamwork, and we're going to play together to win.
Clay?
Probably the best thing a city council member could do is keep an open mind until he hears every side of an issue and to make the best decision that's there for the community. Another thing he needs to do is listen, and that's why years ago I started a thing called the Forum, and that had to do with every Tuesday at 10 a.m. at City Hall, I open it up to anybody that wants to come in and talk to me. I don't have an agenda, I just have a round table and people get to talk and say, hey, what can we do about this? So open-mindedness and listen to the public, I think, is huge.
John and Jerry, a different question for you. If you are in the minority on an important vote, will you support the action of the majority?
That is an open-ended question. Would I support the majority? It would definitely depend on the circumstances of what we're actually looking at and voting upon. I'm an individual like everybody else, but I would want to take everything that was brought to the table into my memory mind and think about it and decide what I would think would be the best way to vote that would be the benefit to the county that I serve. I am not a yes person, and I'm not a person that wants to be controlled. I have my own mind, but I think that sometimes the minority will get you in trouble.
All right, Jerry?
I'm glad you asked that question because I can address something briefly that I'm wanting to address, and that is a lot has been said about my friendships with other members of the Board of Supervisors. For instance, I've been told that you're friends with Bob Williams, he gave you money. Yes, I'll admit he loaned me money, it's on a fair political practice thing. Dennis Garten, I'm friends with him. Yesterday there was a vote that, and he said something that I didn't agree with, and I posted something that said I don't agree with what you said. Afterwards he came to me and said, I wish you hadn't said that, and Bob came to me and said, there's two sides to every story. We agree to disagree, and we're still friends. Since this thing whole started, I've become fairly good friends with Candy Carlson. I enjoy things that she likes, like movies and stuff, so we can talk about stuff like that. I don't know Steve Chamberlain very well, but maybe if I'm elected, I will get to know him better. The thing is, though, if I have an opinion, and I'm in the majority, I'm going to vote what I think regardless of what the majority says, because my opinion is my opinion. And I'm my own person, my own thinker, and I'm not going to buckle to the majority. I'm going to stick my ground.
It's a similar question for the mayoral candidates. How would you work with other council members and the public when they don't agree with your position?
Not everybody's going to agree with me, and I'm not going to agree with everybody else. I have a high level of integrity, and I maintain that. There's many times that something would come up and cause me to research and rethink where I'm at. But if I come down with an idea and I think I'm right, I got to go with it. And sometimes it's not always popular, but you have to do what's right.
John?
I think we've all heard the statement before, lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. And that's what I'm going to do as mayor. I'm going to lead, and I'm going to follow the citizens of the city of Corning, and I'm going to get out of the way when the subject calls for it. If there was something where I was in the minority and the city council was unanimous on voting for something, I would go to each member and talk to them and let them know my feelings and what I'm standing for, and we would go from there. And you know what? We can work everything out. There's nothing out there that that we can't work out and we can't solve through communication. So if I'm in the minority, once you receive your orders, you get to give your opinion, but if that goes against you, then you support it. And that's how I'll be as mayor.
Robert?
Keeping an open dialogue with the public. I've been in that position a few times being on council. Once I've researched something and I form a strong opinion that I feel is right for my community, I don't care if I'm the one person voting yes or I'm the one person voting no. Once I've done the research and I feel that that is the best for my community, I will stick to my values and what I feel is right. I will not be swayed to be part of the popular group.
Shelley, it's a similar question for you. What would you do when other council members and the public don't agree with the position that you have taken?
I was just thinking that this evening before we got here. How would I handle that if I really felt strongly one way when the majority was the other? And I would have to go with my gut feelings and trust my instincts and my judgment.
All right, I'm dumbfounded to realize that we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 people here, and we're almost half an hour earlier than we thought we would be. I have never known people with a microphone not to use all the time they could. So thank you for your brevity, and we'll begin with closing statements. You'll have 2 minutes for those statements. Shelley, we'll begin with you and come back this way. So you have 2 minutes. Bill, you'll give them a 30-second and a 15-second
30-second
warning.
and 15.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank the Tehama County Red Bluff Chamber for putting this together tonight, and to all who are watching and listening to what we have to say. Those that know me know that I'm a very hard worker and I take pride in what I do. And if given the chance, I will work hard for my hometown of Corning. Thank you.
Robert?
I too would like to thank Red Bluff City Chamber for putting this on. I love my community. I love serving it. I want to be part of it for years to come. I want to see Corning grow, and I do want to be part of that. If you vote for me on November 3rd, I will continue to fight for what's right for our community. Thank you.
John?
Okay, well, again, I express my thanks. Thank you for putting on this event and everything. So listening to what's been going on up here with every member, all 9 of us, we all seem to agree that we need to fully fund safety and security. We need to bring new business in. We need to educate our kids. We need to increase our tax base, et cetera, et cetera. In closing, I just want to state that, as far as broadband goes and technology goes, that's what I want to bring to the city of Corning. As far as, that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Michael? Mike?
Thank you. It's on. Anyway, I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this, and thank the county for allowing us to use the Supervisors' chambers to put this forum on. We've heard a lot of really good ideas and a lot of really good thoughts amongst everyone here tonight. I'm looking to be the mayor of Corning so that I can help out, do my part. It's kind of like paying back a little bit. I've had a very enriched life, and I've had some very good positions in life, and this is part of me paying back and paying forward what I've received from the community. And I thank you for listening to me, and I hope to receive your votes.
Jerry?
Well, I don't know who said it. I've heard it attributed to Mother Teresa, to lots of people, but the quote goes, is the service is what you pay for the blessings that God gives you. We live in a great place. Right now we're kind of in a pickle. But you know what? I wouldn't live anywhere else. I love it here. I plan on staying here, and I want to make a difference here. And I want to make it very clear that I don't consider myself running against John Leach. I'm running for county supervisor. I think I'm more qualified than him, but having said that, I consider John first and foremost a friend. We used to have offices across the street from each other, and we used to, shoot the breeze about stuff. And I know that we agree on a lot of stuff, probably more than either of us want to admit. And I hope that if one of us will be elected, I hope it's me, but even so, I hope that we'll be able to remain friends and advisors to each other, and call each other up and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I hope that he feels the same way about me. Like I said, I'm Jerry Crow, I'm running for supervisor. I want to serve you. That's the only reason I'm running, and that I would like to have an opportunity to keep this place as great as it has been for me while I was growing up. And if you think these things are great and you want to keep them that way and change the things that need to be changed, vote for me, Jerry Crow. But drop the E. It's Crow, no E.
Well, I'm kind of a local boy. I was actually raised in Orland in Glenn County till I graduated from high school and moved into the military, and spent a long time in the military, Vietnam veteran. I moved into Tehama County in 1978 and worked in Tehama County. I worked for a company called Bill Carter Foods for about 7 years. And Tehama County's been good to me. It allowed me to be an entrepreneur and develop a business in my garage at home, which mushroomed into a multi-million-dollar company, employing individuals in the county for the city of Corning. I have been not a politician, but I've been in the political realm more than once, especially in the military, and also as a city councilman in Corning for 2 terms. I just want to say tonight that if I'm elected, and I'm hoping that I will, and Jerry and I will always be friends no matter what. Whether you win or I win, it's neither here nor there, we're both running. I will always strive to have an open door policy and listen to the men and women of District 5. I learned that lesson when I was on the city council, to listen to the citizens, because if you listen to them, they can help you make wise decisions for the jurisdiction that you're representing. I strongly believe that we do not need career politicians in office. I think we have too many of them now. But we need men and women who possesses business acumen. I want to be the change that this county desperately needs right now. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you and answer questions tonight, and especially thank the Chamber of Commerce of Red Bluff for offering to open this up. For the way the pandemic is here with the COVID-19, that we can't have a complete audience out there, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Bill, by the way, thank you so much for the use of the Supervisors' Chambers tonight.
Thank you, Board.
Clay.
Again, thanks to the Red Bluff Chamber and Sunrise Rotary for hosting the events and talking about the Chamber. I think if anyone asks any of the directors that have been around, they will let you know that I'm their #1 supporter on City Council. There's been times in the past that funding has been looked at being diminished from the Chamber of Commerce, and I was able to get other members of the City Council to make sure their funding was not cut. And as far as I'm concerned, it never will be. I've been involved in several elections locally. It's not easy. It's not a lot of fun. As with my prior elections, I don't talk about my opponents, and I only talk about who I am, what I've accomplished, and what I can do in the future. For 12 years, I was the person who had the ultimate decision regarding matters affecting the community. Of course, I listened to others, but it was still my decision. When I was elected to the City Council, I had to change my way of thinking and realize that I was now 1 vote in a 5-member council. Nothing can be accomplished without 2 of my colleagues coming to the same conclusion. One person can make all types of promises as to what will happen in the city, but without being a member of the team, nothing will happen. I have the education, training, and experience to work as a team member and will continue to lead our city forward. As for disagreements with other city council members, We'll disagree at times, but I can tell you, we still remain friends and we still respect each other. Thanks and have a good evening.
J.R.
Running for city council was probably the least on my mind a year ago. But I was asked if I would run, and I said I'd talk to my wife. At first she said no, but then she said, I'll support you. You see, when we work, my wife and I work as a team, and we've learned to give 200% to whatever we do. I retired 5 years ago, and let me tell you, serving this community now as we served our church in Corning will be the greatest honor of our lives because we believe in people. We believe in the success of people. I was raised to be a problem solver, and that's something because I was raised in a cotton farm in Texas. To be coming from Texas, to be sitting here before you now and asking to be your city councilman is a great change in my life. But let me tell you, from B of A, when I was 24 years old, they taught me, and I was called to supervise Santa Cruz, Maine, 47 employees at Santa Cruz, Maine, Bank of America. I considered that an honor, to be trusted by them at that time. And I believe you can trust me to be your city councilman because there is nothing that will be too difficult for us if we can learn to work together and have a vision of the heart for the city of Red Bluff. Thank you so much.
Cody?
Before we wrap up tonight, I just want to say I'm sorry to everyone at home who couldn't attend, but I do appreciate the chamber. You guys are great for throwing this on, so you can at least check it out online, right? I hope before you go out and vote, you research your candidates thoroughly. I've built ideas, I've built laws, and I've built processes and policies and been involved every step of the way for every idea I have. So far as to personally recruiting local banks to build grant programs to fund our local businesses and help them expand. I hope you check me out. Let's bring some honesty to this town. Let's bring some integrity to this town. I can't fix every single problem Red Bluff has. I can help fix a lot of them. But where I can't fix them, I can sure empower the correct people to fix them themselves. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm Cody Strock for City Council.
Well, it's a very dangerous thing to end early and give a pastor free time trying to decide whether I should take an offering or whether I should preach. And I think I'll preach for just a moment. One of the things, my wife and I have lived here 19 years, moved here from Denver, and one of the things that was clear when we first moved here was the divisiveness between the county and the city, and between the city of Corning and the county, and between the city of Red Bluff. And in the last 19 years, it is a real blessing for us to have seen the municipalities, including the county, to begin to work together on various projects, various subjects. And all of you here are representing those three different jurisdictions. Some of you will be elected, some of you will not. I want to point out something to you as we went around the room. There's almost universal agreement on the what's that should be done. If you could take the comments and print them and compare them side by side, there's not a lot of difference in the what's. The real difference is often in the hows. And that is where statesmanship, that is where the dirty word compromise comes in. We tend to think that compromise is for weaklings, but nothing gets done in most cases without some legitimate compromise and being willing to listen to the other person and to make concessions when it's for the good of a common purpose. And as you go back to your municipalities, those of you who will be elected, I encourage you to look for unity and look for opportunities to work together, both within your council, the supervisors, and in the city of Corning. And I want to encourage you to look to the future. We have huge problems that face us, but we also have huge blessings in this community to help us. And I want to encourage you to keep promising yourself to do your best and to do the best for the communities. I'm not sure whether there is anything else that needs to happen. I got to open, so I'm going to close with another prayer. Brace yourself. Father, it is very heartwarming to see these folks here that are willing to volunteer for what is not a very well-paid position in any case. And it is a position that will cost them. I pray that you will sustain them, whoever is elected. Those who are not elected, Father, I pray they will continue to support their community. I pray that you might give this community harmony, that you might give us unity in the important issues, and that you might give us understanding when we don't agree. I pray that you will bless this community, bless the folks who serve us as our elected officials, bless our law enforcement, first responders. Father, bless this community, bless this state. Father, God bless America. I ask all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank you. And one last thing. Clay is the only one, I think, that picked it up. And Clay, I appreciate it. This event was sponsored by the Red Bluff-Tehama County Chamber of Commerce and the Sunrise Rotary Club. So remember that the next time it comes up. Sunrise Rotary and Red Bluff Chamber of Commerce have hosted these for about the last 8 years. So thank you for your willingness to be involved. Good night. God bless you.